Now, WGEM Sports on the Tri-States News Leader.
Bragging rights. It's not a trophy you can put on your shelf or a ring you can slip on your finger, but they might be more valuable than both. That's what was on the line tonight as two tri-state teams collided in the 7th annual Missouri-Illinois All-Star Baseball game. And while QU football players will be returning to a new and improved locker room right here on campus, there's still the looming possibility that they return to a football season with a limited number of fans in the stands. Now, normally you would see many golfers practicing here on the putting green, but the Restore Illinois plan capped the capacity at just 50%. Now, here at Advanced Physical Therapy Field on the Quincy Notre Dame campus, where we normally see Coach Reese and the Q&D Raiders in action, here at Fuzz Burgess Field, our Floyd's premier event was the 400, which she ran right here on this track.
Now, WGEM Sports on the Tri-States News Leader.
We've seen the COVID-19 pandemic affect many businesses in the Tri-States, including in the medical field. One particular business specializes in physical therapy, and a person who works there just so happens to be Quincy Notre Dame soccer coach and Hall of Famer Greg Reese. The two-time state champion spoke on how COVID-19 has affected their operations. Advanced Physical Therapy was once here at 30th and Broadway, but they moved to a new and much bigger location, that being Blessing Health System at 48th and Main. They did so on June 1st during the pandemic, a time where they weren't seeing much business.
I mean, a lot of our patients decided to stay home. We dropped off probably 50–60%. So it affected us quite a bit. I mean, the doctors quit seeing patients in person. They were doing a lot of the telehealth stuff.
Since reopening, Quincy Notre Dame soccer coach Greg Reese says they have been implementing COVID-19 safety guidelines. Everyone must wear a mask, and patients have their temperature checked before they enter the building.
It's tough for some people with the exercising, but I mean, they've been able to work through it. Yeah, and in our clinic here, we've gotten more room than what our previous clinic was, so we are trying to stay spaced out a little bit more.
Athletes are some of Advanced Physical Therapy's normal patients, but with the sports season canceled due to COVID-19, players have been working out at their own pace, which has cut down the number of injuries. Now, here at Advanced Physical Therapy Field on the Quincy Notre Dame campus, where we normally see Coach Reese and the Q&D Raiders in action, there could be some changes brought on by the COVID-19 global pandemic for the upcoming season.
There has been some talk about moving stuff to the spring, but I don't know how viable that is with the already spring sports going on anyway, plus trying to move some of your bigger sports with football and soccer into an already crowded venue. I mean, I don't know if that's feasible or not, so hopefully we are able to go. I mean, I feel really good about the team that I have.
The Raiders are coming off a third-place finish at state last year, and they relish to hit the field again. It was the final games of Week 2 for Iowa Prep softball today, and the Central Lee Lady Hawks are 5-2, and they've been playing great behind head coach Tiffany Woodruff. But the Lady Hawks were supposed to actually host Burlington today, but due to the rain, the doubleheader was switched to Burlington. It was a noon start time on the diamond, both teams looking to get ahead quickly. And it was a pitcher's duel early in this one. Bottom 4, bases loaded and 2 outs for the pitcher, Odessa Bradenberg. She rips it to the opposite way. 2 runners would score. Bradenberg helping herself out, giving the Lady Greyhounds the 2-0 lead. Burlington's up 3-0 now. After an overthrow, next batter, Lydia Allen Barnes, and she takes it the other way. The runner scores, making it 4-0, and Burlington gets the 2-out rally going. Top 5, still 4-0 now. Central Lee has the bases loaded, and Shannon Buford draws the walk, giving Central Lee their first run. Top 7, no out. Central Lee looking to make a comeback. Zoe Eschman leading it off, and she hits it to center, but Bryn Cassidy, she makes the diving play, and Central Lee drops the first game 4-1 in 7 innings. Now on to game 2, because like I said, this is a doubleheader. Central Lee fans lined up against the first base side, top 1 runner on third with no outs, full count. Macy Watkins, she gets a hold of one over the center fielder. The runner will score. Watkins with the double. Central Lee with the early 1-0 lead. Bottom 4 still 1-1, no outs. Lydia Allen Barnes gets a hold of one herself. She hits it deep to right center. Almost a diving play, but drops. And Allen Barnes leads it off with a double. Two batters later, no outs with runners at second and third for Carly McGinty. She pulls it down the line into the outfield. Both runners would score, making it a 3-1 Burlington lead, and they would go on. They would not let go of the lead right there. The Lady Greyhounds going to win 5-1 in 7 frames after dropping both games. Central Lee head coach Tiffany Woodruff knows her team will bounce right back.
We don't give up. We keep playing until, last out. We don't give up. Just because they scored a bunch of runs, we can too. So,
high school teams in Iowa can now start workouts. However, unlike Illinois, all out-of-season teams can work out, not just fall teams. IHSAA said Friday out-of-season coach-athlete contact as well as strength and conditioning activities may resume July 1st. Outdoor workouts are encouraged over indoor to reduce transmission. Social distancing rules still apply. Only 10 people are allowed in a group, including the coach and medical personnel equipment, which must be sanitized, and coaches must keep logs of participants. Moving over to Missouri now, on the youth baseball team, Hannibal 16 and under played 2 games. First, they took on the West Central Elite out of Macomb, and Hannibal, they lost that one 11-9. Tyler Hardy was the losing pitcher for Hannibal. The Bats would stay alive, though, in the second game, as Hannibal took out the Sting out of St. Louis. Hannibal would have 11 hits as they won that one 12-2. Keaton Pantaleo will be the winning pitcher for Hannibal. They play again tomorrow at 3 p.m. where they will host Warrington. MLB fans, take note. It's Game 5 of the NLDS from 2013. We have our Cardinals Radio Classics. They're taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. That will be on the radio airwaves tomorrow evening on News Talk 105 WGEM starting at noon. Again, that's tomorrow. That's your Cardinals station. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm Richard Denson. Have a safe and wonderful night. The COVID-19 pandemic has halted and affected many things in the college football offseason. No spring ball, no summer camps, even recruiting has gone virtual. But the extra time gives coaches more free time to work on other projects, and for QU football head coach Gary Bass, that meant addressing an area that hadn't been overhauled in more than 2 decades. The next time Quincy University football players fly off the field and out the huddle, they'll have a new space to land. Work is underway on renovating the team's locker room. 4th-year head coach Gary Bass says he wanted to give the area a little bit of a facelift, so he and several grad assistants are resanding and repainting the lockers, with plans to add turf to the ground and a player's lounge.
And just try to do something to make it a little bit nicer for our guys when they come back. I think it's something that's hugely important because you spend a lot of time in there. Before practice, after practice, and giving them players' lounge to be able to go in and do homework, be able to go in there and have fun with each other, and just give them a space to be able to spend time together all in all throughout the day.
Bass says the project will cost anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000, with himself and school alumni footing the bill.
Anytime a player sees any kind of upgrade, any kind of resource input into the program, it just sends a message that there's a commitment behind the program, a commitment from the coaching staff. And I think this commitment is even a greater message because it's coming right from the staff directly.
And while QU football players will be returning to a new and improved locker room right here on campus, there's still the looming possibility that they return to a football season with a limited number of fans in the stands, something coaches acknowledge will be a challenge.
Your environment's your environment, and it's one of those things you want the excitement, you want everything at game day to be great. So, it definitely will damper things a little bit if they do reduce drastically what it is. But when it comes down to it, these young men are here to play college football. And the most important things are the games in and of itself. So I believe if you ask them tomorrow, do you not want a football season or do you want a football season with less people in the stands? I'd like to tell you every kid's going to sit here and tell you they'd like to play football season with less people in the stands.
You may not see many sports played around the state of Illinois because of strict social distancing guidelines and regulations brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. But one sport you can still participate in, of course, is the gentleman's game of golf. Some of the top golfers in the region come from the tri-states, and one of them happens to live right here in the Gem City. That would be Quincy Notre Dame golfer Alex McCullough. The rising senior is right now dealing with what's now become the new norm in the game of golf. The summer months offer area prep golfers a great opportunity to own their skills on the fairways, and usually that would mean travel to various youth tournaments across the region. But for McCullough, that opportunity was all wiped away when the COVID-19 global pandemic shut down the economy for months and canceled several tournaments.
Kind of disappointing. This is kind of like probably one of my last summers where I'd be playing junior tournaments, amateur tournaments. So it's definitely disappointing. I feel like, everyone kind of missed out on a good season.
At this point, McCullough is striving to get back out to the fairways. Although he's under different conditions, social distancing guidelines are strictly being enforced, as well as different safety protocols. Previously in the state of Illinois, golfers could only play in pairs, but as restrictions slowly ease, groupings have increased to 4. However, only one person will be able to utilize a golf cart unless they come from the same household.
Definitely the tee times, the spread out tee times makes a big difference. The twosomes, 2 people per group, that definitely makes a big difference. It's a lot less crowded out here. Everything's way more spaced out.
Now, normally you would see many golfers practicing here on the putting green, but the Restore Illinois plan capped the capacity at just 50%, leaving golfers to spend most of their time on the course.
If you pick and choose your days, go for like weekdays, later in the evening, none of that should really interfere with any practice schedule you want to have. So it'll be crowded at times, but not all the time.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about many changes and adjustments that will take some time for many to get accustomed to. For Alex McCullough, though, it's just another day at the golf course, and he's not making any excuses. For WGEM Sports, I'm Richard Denson.